Let me tell you why most people don't fail because they quit. They fail because they have to decide again. They have to decide when to start, decide what to work on, and decide how much effort today deserves. And decision making drains energy before execution even begins. So today we're closing one of the most overlooked execution gaps. It's the gap between intention and automation. Because when execution depends on daily decisions, consistency is always fragile. But when execution runs on systems, progress becomes automatic. Hello, welcome back to JC's Learning Edge for another Friday deep dive. I'm so glad that you all are here. We're on our third week of our series, The Execution Gap, and today we're specifically talking about how systems make execution automatic. Let's get right into it. Our first point today is systems remove the need to decide. Every decision costs energy, whether it's what to work on, when to start, how long to go. And most people burn energy before they even begin the process. But systems eliminate this. A system answers questions in advance. The question of when do I work? What do I work on first? And what's the minimum acceptable effort I can give to this? And when those answers are pre-decided, execution becomes mechanical. You don't need motivation to follow a system. You just need to follow instructions. And that's why systems outperform willpower every time. The fewer decisions you have to make, the more consistent your execution becomes. So I want you to think of it like this. Consistency improves when thinking decreases, when I don't have to constantly make decisions but follow instructions. So here's your micro action step for this. Today, I want you to decide when and where one important task will happen. Lock the decision once and stop renegotiating it. Just follow instructions. And that leads me to my second point. Systems lower the activation energy. Most people think execution fails because they're lazy, but that's rarely true. The real issue is activation energy, which is the effort required to start. If starting feels heavy, complex, or unclear, then execution gets delayed. But systems lower that barrier. They break work into obvious first steps, they remove setup friction, and they make starting easier than avoiding. And when the first step is small and clear, resistance drops. Execution improves not because the task itself got easier, but because starting got simpler. I'm going to say that again. Execution improves not because the tasks got easier, but because starting got simpler. And that's how systems quietly win and push you to go to new levels. And I want you to remember this. You don't rise to the level of your ambition, but you fall to the level of your setup or systems, however you want to say it. And your micro action step for this is today, I want you to shrink one task until the first step feels almost too easy. Shrink one task until the first step feels almost too easy and start there. Not to finish, just to begin. And then as you continue to go, the momentum will carry you through. Now let's get to our third point. Systems protect progress on low energy days. And this is really where systems matter the most. Anyone can execute on a good day. When you feel like doing it, when your motivation is high, when you're not tired, when you really have that grind mindset, anybody can do it. But it's on those low energy days. And systems truly exist for those tired days, for those busy days, and for those, distracted days. On low energy days, systems don't demand perfection, but they demand minimum standards. I'm going to say that again. On low energy days, systems don't demand perfection. You don't have to be perfect, but they demand minimum standards. A system might say, do 20 minutes, not zero. It might say, touch the task, don't finish it. It may say maintain the streak. And this protects your momentum. And momentum, not intensity, is what compounds results. Systems don't just help you start, but they help you continue. And I want you to remember this: progress is protected by what you do on your worst days, not on your best ones. I'm going to let that sink in. Progress is protected by what you do on your worst days, not on your best ones. So here's your micro action step. Today, define your minimum standard for a low energy day and commit to doing that instead of doing nothing. It doesn't have to be all or nothing, it can be an in between. So even on those days you may not feel like studying for an hour, can you give me 20 minutes just to keep that consistency? And this is exactly why structure is truly the backbone of graduating half the time. The goal isn't maximum effort, but it's sustainable progress. Systems let you execute without burning out, restarting, or relying on mood or feelings. So if you're serious about closing your execution gap, this is where you learn how to make progress automatic and not emotional. And as I close, here's your truth for week 3. Willpower fades, motivation fluctuates, but systems endure. Willpower fades, motivation fluctuates, but systems endure. And next week, we're closing the final execution gap, the one that determines whether, systems stick or collapse. We're going to be talking about identity because in the end, you don't act like who you want to be, you act like who you believe you are. And if this series is helping you, subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss the final chapter. We're going to another level next week. That being said, this is the execution gap, and we're almost at the finish line. And as always, success doesn't shout, it shows up. I'll see you next week. Bye bye.